Yes, you can. It still works fine. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. According to the iPod stats, I actually ran 22.48 kilometers, and if you look at the stats for the Coros Pace 3, then I ran 21.99 kilometers. If you've seen my video on the best running music player, you will already know it's one of these. This is a 7th generation iPod Nano. If you haven't seen that video, I will link it up here and maybe down here. One of the features of this iPod and many other models is the Nike Plus integration. This is the precursor to the Nike Run Club app and in many ways the Apple Watch. I've mentioned this a bunch of other times in previous videos, so I'm not going to bore you with the history. Maybe I'll try and link one up here. But essentially it allows you to track running with an iPod. Unlike most modern running watches or apps, it doesn't have a GPS sensor in the iPod. Well, I guess the iPod Touch might, but it certainly doesn't have one in here, and therefore it has to use the accelerometer to measure your steps and therefore calculate your distance. Obviously, because it doesn't have GPS, you're not going to get a map of your run, and you're also going to miss out on a bunch of other data points that you would get on a more dedicated device. You're just going to get some basic stats. I tested it against this. This is a Coros Pace 3, a dedicated running watch with 5 different satellite systems. Over the 3 runs that I tested it, the iPod tended to measure the distance a little bit further than the Coros, but it does give you the option to recalibrate after each run, which I did on this second run, and that's why you can see it's an exact match. You can also enter your height and weight, and I assume this will go some way to improving the accuracy also. Not something I did for these tests. Other features include the ability to pair with this. This is the long discontinued Nike Plus sensor. This was placed into specific Nike Plus running shoes. It had a little kind of hole in the heel underneath the insole that you would pop this into, and then this would improve the accuracy. Despite still having mine, I didn't use it for these tests because I'm pretty sure it's dead. There's no way to change the battery, and so I'm sure that I wouldn't be able to reconnect this. I also no longer have any trainers that it's compatible with, so I guess I would have just had to sling it in my shoe, or maybe I could have done something similar to this. This is Coros's answer to the sensor, and it worked in a similar way. It's a similar size device. And that actually has a carrier. You can see that it clips to your laces and then it measures it that way. In fact, I wonder if this would fit in that. Not really. Maybe if you forced it or taped it to it, it would work. But you can see they're a very similar device. And this has a separate charging dock, and this just was a one and done. There's no way to open it as far as I can tell. There's also the option to pair a remote and a heart rate monitor. I think this is an all-in-one device. It's like a watch/band type of thing that you wear on your wrist. It's got iPod controls on the front and I think the heart rate monitor on the back. I never actually had one of these. As far as I'm aware, you're not able to pair just any old heart rate monitor. It had to be one of these devices. In terms of stats, what you're going to get is fairly basic. You'll get a start and end time, which will give you a total duration. You're going to get a distance, a pace, and calories. You can also see what playlist you was listening to at the time, assuming you had selected one. In this case, I was just listening to Now Playing. But if you think you've had a particularly good run with a specific playlist, it may help you to know what that was so that you can use it again next time. Now, it should go without saying that the iPod is capable of playing music while you run. This isn't something that's standard on all running devices. Some running watches, for instance, don't have any music integration at all. Those that do, often it's implemented in a pretty rubbish way and the controls are a little janky. Something that can't be leveled against the iPod because it's pretty much nailed the controls on all of them. When you start a run, you have 4 options. Basic will track time and distance indefinitely, or at least until the battery dies. Time with 5 standard options and the ability to create a custom time up to 23 hours and 59 minutes. Distance has 8 default options from 3K all the way up to marathon distance. You can also create a custom distance up to 99.95 either kilometers or miles. And finally, calories, which has from 100 to 800 as standard options. And again, a custom option, which allows you to set up to 9,995 calories. Kind of weird that it's 9995 and not 9999, but there you are, that's how it is. To start a run, all you need to do is choose what type of tracking method you want to use. Then you need to select the music you're going to listen to, or a podcast or an audiobook. In fact, there's even an option to not listen to anything, so you can use this for tracking and not use the music feature if you so wish. It will then take you to the next screen where, when you're ready, you can hit Start Workout. If you hit pause, it'll bring up a new menu with 3 options: Resume, Change Music, and End Workout. During your run, you'll get spoken feedback either in male or female, and depending on the tracking mode that you're in, you'll get updates like pace and distance as you go through. Okay, so I'm just editing this video and I've realised that the audio that I thought was being recorded into this microphone wasn't working. Now, I was wearing this microphone that I'm wearing now as a backup, but that ran out of battery at this point in the video. I have used Adobe Podcast to try and smooth out the audio across the whole track, but there was a significant drop in volume because it was using the microphone on the camera rather than this that had died. So if my voice is a little bit robotic and a bit weird, that's kind of why. Okay, back to the video. Activity history is stored and accessed directly on the iPod. You can see personal bests for 1K, 3K, 10K, 1 mile, 2 miles, 5 miles, half marathon and marathon distances directly on here. You can also see workout totals. So it will give you the total number of workouts, the furthest workout, your overall run distance, the time, that's total time, total calories, and if you've done any walking tracking, it'll also give you the number of steps. You don't get steps for running, just walking. You'll then see all your workouts by month and year. So here you can see there's only one at the minute. It's January 2025, and it shows you all of the workouts that I've done. The eagle-eyed amongst you will have noticed there are 5 workouts on there, but only 3 of them have any information, and that's because in order to film this video, I was starting and stopping to see how it worked, what you can do when you start and stop, and ended up logging 2 workouts of no distance and no time and no calories, etc. And now I can't get rid of them on the iPod itself. There's no way to remove them, so that's gone into my total number of workouts, which is kind of frustrating. There is a clear button when you pull down, which I haven't pressed yet because I'm a bit worried that I'm going to do it and then I'm going to lose all the information I need to complete this video. Maybe I'll film it after this video of me pressing clear and then insert it now. So you know what happens. In your list of activities in each month, you can then obviously tap in each individual one and get the stats for that specific workout. A 12-year-old iPod may not be the obvious choice for a running tracker in 2025, but that doesn't mean to say that you can't do it. If you are looking to upgrade because you never stopped using one, then you might want to get a dedicated device, and I will leave a playlist up here of some reviews I have done on those. Let me know down in the comments, would you go back to using an iPod to track your running? Have you never stopped? Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.